Hi everyone, and welcome again to Laura. I'm Hyperstamper, and this is going to be another journal flip through. This is a wonderful 1906 book that I found. Look at the colors on this cover. They are as vibrant today as they ever were. Even the spine, the back, it's just beautiful. All I did to the front of this was I used the inside spine bit that has the signature and netting glue, and I used that at the top here and the bottom here just for some extra texture. I didn't think it needed any other embellishments, just the way it is. So let's do a little flip through. Jack Empson was the original owner of this book, and I always leave the inscriptions in my books because I do use only authentic antique and vintage ephemera. I don't use any replicas or commercial papers or photocopies, nothing like that. The only times I use non-antique or vintage papers is mostly the tea-dyed paper, and I'll point those out as I go through. These are the original pages of the books, lots of journaling spots. The original print here and publisher's page. Then I've got one of those tea-dyed pages I was telling you about, and I did some hand stamping just to make it pretty. Here is a vintage doily, which I love. And this little guy here is a pocket. You can journal on this side. It's an antique book page, and I tucked in here some vintage store receipts from the 50s from Cincinnati Pearl's shop. And here's some more vintage tissue writing paper. Almost looks like a bowling scores. I doubt that's what it is though. Here is a lovely page from a theater arts magazine from the 50s. Vintage stamp and some vintage ephemera scraps here. It's a lovely image from a children's book. Again, you can see that that's got the clown image, and on the flip side up here is the continuation of it. This is a 1936 ledger page using the quill and ink. Look at how beautiful that is. It's just magical. I love it. And that's the flip side of that theater arts page. Just quite lovely. And a vintage stamp here from Bermuda. And more beautiful images from that magazine, and the other side of that doily. More tea-dyed paper. It's nice and strong, so that sometimes antique paper can be brittle. So this gives you some nice, really good go-for-it journaling pages. This is the instructions, the French instructions out of vintage sewing pattern. Here's a little tag I made out of a dictionary page, and a vintage hanky, a full-size vintage hanky, which is actually brand new. It has the original fold lines in it, so you can do whatever you like with that. It's just pretty, and I wanted you to have it. There we go. Oh, I love this vintage recipe book page with the cheesy jelly mold, whatever that is, pudding. And it has got sort of like old food splatters on it, which is just wonderful. Look at these cheesy images. They're just fantastic. Oh my good Lord. Anyways, it's very fun and colorful. I made this little pocket here to house this wonderful little image from a children's book, so you can journal on the back of that, and there's lots of white space here as well. This is the flip side of that pattern from Butterick's. I hand stamped this tea-dye page as well. This is from a 1930s music sheet, and I tucked in this pocket here another little miniature booklet for you with this is actually from a newspaper magazine from the 40s. Isn't that cool? Love it. Another recipe page here from a different cookbook, and a 1930s music sheet here. And look at this wonderful 1950s university yearbook. And look at these awesome photos. Good Lord. I think I know some of these people. And here's a 1950s flashcard. Now this image here behind it on this page is upside down, and that's on purpose because the plate here from a famous book, Ives and Cures. I'll put it in the link below. It has the flip side upside down, so there was no getting around that. But it is the most gorgeous winter scene. Full color plate, they're hard to come by. And this is another little mini booklet that I've made out of a recipe. Tuck it in that pocket there. There's more from that wonderful yearbook. And here is another old song from a music book. And another tag made from a school book from the 1920s. Isn't that awesome? Used in pencil. More hand-stamped images. Here's another vintage hanky that I actually turned into pockets. And in this pocket, I've put a tag that I made out of an antique book page. And I made a little pocket from a page from an antique bird book. And just a little teeny tiny spot here for you to journal on, tucked into there. How fun is that? And journal on the back as well. And you can actually, there's enough room in there to tuck even more things that are special to you. This is from an illustration from a children's book. Isn't that beautiful? This lovely fairy, little dog. And this is from a vintage bird book, which I love. It's American Birds. I love it. This page here, which I'll get to here, is from the 1938 Paris, France Almanac. So it's an almanac of the entire year. This one here is Jeudi 10 mars 1938, which is Thursday, March 10th, 1938. And it's got, you know what I love about this one? This page actually, the person who had this almanac filled in the crossword puzzle. How fun is that? And you can just throw it in Google Translate and find out what some of these things are from 1938, which was during World War II. So a lot of it is very propaganda based too, very fun. And when I say fun, I mean important. Here we go. This is from a needlecraft magazine from the 40s. And look at the wonderful Christmas card designs and patterns to make little girls' dresses and advertisements for sewing notions and rugs. And another antique journal page. I made this tag here from an antique book, and another one of those beautiful Bermuda stamps that I got a little stack of. And I pulled this from a antique book that says a personal record, which I thought was perfect for a journal. I love it. This lovely full color photo souvenir book. Isn't that lovely? And that would have been from the 1940s. And this is the chapter 1 or part 1 from the book The Magic Garden. And then I just have a few more little journaling pages there for you to use. And I think that finishes. Oh, I put the very last page of the book here, the end, which if I ever have those the end books, I always use them. So please visit my Etsy shop, and this is for sale as of June 2023. And you'll see dozens and dozens of other antique journals that I've made. I hope you'll visit. Thanks for visiting.